Brescia, Lombard, Brescia, locally, BRS, or BRH, Latin. Brixia, is a city and comune in the region of Lombardy in northern Italy. It is situated at the foot of the Alps, a few kilometers from the lakes Garda and Iseo. With a population of 196,120, it is the second largest city in the region and the fourth of northwest Italy. The urban area of Brescia extends beyond the administrative city limits and has a population of 672,822, while over 1.5 million people live in its metropolitan area. The city is the administrative capital of the province of Brescia, one of the largest in Italy, with over 1,200,000 inhabitants. Founded over 3,200 years ago, Brescia has been an important regional center since pre-Roman times. Its old town contains the best-preserved Roman public buildings in northern Italy and numerous monuments, among these the medieval castle, the old and new cathedral, the Renaissance Piazza della Loggia and the Rationalist Piazza della Vittoria. The monumental archaeological area of the Roman Forum and the monastic complex of San Salvatore Santa Giulia have become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as part of a group of 7 inscribed as Longobards in Italy. Places of power. Brescia is considered the industrial capital of Italy. The metallurgy and the production of machine tools and firearms are of particular economic significance, along with mechanical and automotive engineering. The major companies are A2A, Lucchini, Beretta, Perazzi and Camozzi. Nicknamed the Leonessa d'Italia, Brescia is the homeland of Italian caviar, and is known for being the original production area of the Franciacorta wine and for the prestigious Mille Miglia car race that starts and ends in this city. In addition, Brescia is the setting for most of the action in Manzoni's Adelchi. History. Ancient era. Various myths relate to the founding of Brescia. One assigns it to Hercules while another attributes its foundation as Altilia by a fugitive from the siege of Troy. According to another myth, the founder was the king of the Ligures, Cydnus, who had invaded the Padane plain in the late Bronze Age. Colcydno was named after that version, and it is the site of the medieval castle. This myth seems to have a grain of truth, because recent archaeological excavations have unearthed remains of a settlement dating back to 1200 BC that scholars presume to have been built and inhabited by Ligures peoples. Other scholars attribute the founding of Brescia to the Etruscans. The Gallic Cenomani, allies of the Incubers, invaded in the 7th century BC, and used the town as their capital. The city became Roman in 225 BC, when the Cenomani submitted to the Romans. During the Carthaginian Wars, Brixia was usually allied with the Romans. In 202 BC, it was part of a Celtic confederation against Timbit, after a secret agreement changed sides and attacked and destroyed the Incubers by surprise. Subsequently, the city and the tribe entered the Roman world peacefully as faithful allies, maintaining a certain administrative freedom. In 89 BC, Brixia was recognized as civitas, and in 41 BC, its inhabitants received Roman citizenship. Augustus founded a civil colony there in 27 BC, and he and Tiberius constructed an aqueduct to supply it. Roman Brixia had at least 3 temples, an aqueduct, a theatre, a forum with another temple built under Vespasianus, and some baths. When Constantine advanced against Maxentius in 312, an engagement took place at Brixia in which the enemy was forced to retreat as far as Verona. In 402, the city was ravaged by the Visigoths of Alaric I. During the 452 invasion of the Huns under Attila, the city was besieged and sacked. 40 years later, it was one of the first conquests by the Gothic general Theodoric the Great in his war against Odoacer. Middle Ages. In 568, Brescia was taken from the Byzantines by the Lombards, who made it the capital of one of their semi-independent duchies. The first duke was Alakis, who died in 573. Later dukes included the future kings Rotheric and Rodoalb, and Alakais II, a fervent anti-Catholic who was killed in the Battle of Cornate Adda. The last king of the Lombards, Desiderius, had also been Duke of Brescia. In 774, Charlemagne captured the city and ended the existence of the Lombard kingdom in northern Italy. Notingus was the first bishop who bore the title of count. From 855 to 875, under Louis II the Younger, Brescia became de facto capital of the Holy Roman Empire. Later, the power of the bishop as imperial representative was gradually opposed by the local citizens and nobles, Brescia becoming a free commune around the early 12th century. Subsequently it expanded into the nearby countryside, first at the expense of the local landholders, and later against the neighboring communes, notably Bergamo and Cremona. Brescia defeated the latter 2 times at Pontoglio, then at the Gramora and in the Battle of the Malamorta. During the struggles in 12th and 13th centuries between the Lombard cities and the German emperors, Brescia was implicated in some of the leagues and in all of the uprisings against them. In the Battle of Legnano, the contingent from Brescia was the second in size after that of Milan. The Peace of Constance that ended the war with Frederick Barbarossa confirmed officially the free status of a comune. In 1201 the Podesta Rambertino Buvarelli made peace and established a league with Cremona, Bergamo, and Mantua. Memorable also is the siege laid to Brescia by the Emperor Frederick II in 1238 on account of the part taken by this city in the Battle of Cortenavar. Brescia came through this assault victorious. After the fall of the Hohenstaufen, republican institutions declined at Brescia as in the other free cities, and the leadership was contested between powerful families, chief among them the Maggi and the Brusacea, the latter of the Ghibelline party. In 1258 it fell into the hands of Azelinor da Romano. In 1311 Emperor Henry VII laid siege to Brescia for 6 months, losing 3/4 of his army. Later the Scaliger of Verona, aided by the exiled Ghibellines, sought to place Brescia under subjection. The citizens of Brescia then had recourse to John of Luxembourg, but Mastino II della Scala expelled the governor appointed by him. His mastery was soon contested by the Visconti of Milan, but not even their rule was undisputed, as Pandolfo III Malatesta in 1406 took possession of the city. However, in 1416 he bartered it to Filippo Maria Visconti, Duke of Milan, who in 1426 sold it to the Venetians. The Milanese nobles forced Filippo to resume hostilities against the Venetians, and thus to attempt the recovery of Brescia. But he was defeated in the Battle of Maclaudio, near Brescia, by General Carmagnola, commander of the Venetian mercenary army. In 1439 Brescia was once more besieged by Francesco Sforza, captain of the Venetians, who defeated Niccolo Piccinino, Filippo's condottiero. Thenceforward Brescia and the province were a Venetian possession, with the exception of the years between 1512 and 1520, when it was occupied by the French armies under Gaston de Foix, Duke of Nemours. Modern-era Brescia has had a major role in the history of the violin. Many archived documents very clearly testify that from 1490 to 1640 Brescia was the cradle of a magnificent school of string players and makers, all styled maestro, of all the different kinds of stringed instruments of the Renaissance. Viola da gamba, violin, lyra, lirone, violetta and viola da brazzo. So you can find from 1495, Maestro del Viola, or Maestro del Lira, and later, at least from 1558, Maestro di far violina, that is master of violin making. From 1530 the word violin appeared in Brescian documents and spread in later decades throughout north of Italy, reaching Venezia and Cremona. Early in the 16th century Brescia was one of the wealthiest cities of Lombardy, but it never recovered from its sack by the French in 1512. It subsequently shared the fortunes of the Venetian Republic until the latter fell at the hands of French General Napoleon Bonaparte. In Napoleonic times. It was part of the various revolutionary republics and then of the Napoleonic Kingdom of Italy after Napoleon became Emperor of the French. In 1769, the city was devastated when the bastion of San Nazaro was struck by lightning. The resulting fire ignited 90,000 kilograms of gunpowder stored there, causing a massive explosion which destroyed 1/6 of the city and killed 3,000 people. After the end of the Napoleonic era in 1815, Brescia was annexed to the Austrian puppet state known as the Kingdom of Lombardy-Venetia. Brescia revolted in 1848, then again in March 1849, when the Piedmontese army invaded Austrian-controlled Lombardy. The people in Brescia overthrew the hated local Austrian administration, and the Austrian military contingent, led by General Haynor, retreated to the castle. When the larger military operations turned against the Piedmontese, that retreated, Brescia was left to its own resources, but managed to resist recapture by the Austrian army for 10 days of bloody and obstinate street fighting that are now celebrated as the 10 Days of Brescia. This prompted poet Giosuè Carducci to nickname Brescia Leonessa d'Italia, since it was the only Lombard town to rally to King Charles Albert of Piedmont in that year. In 1859, the citizens of Brescia voted overwhelmingly in favor of its inclusion in the newly founded Kingdom of Italy. The city was awarded her gold medal for its resistance against fascism in World War II. On May 28, 1974, it was the seat of the bloody Piazza della Loggia bombing. Geography. Topography. Brescia is located in the northwestern section of the Po Valley, at the foot of the Brescian Prealps, between the Mella and the Naviglio, with the Lake Iseo to the west and the Lake Garda to the east. The southern area of the city is flat, while towards the north the territory becomes hilly. The city's lowest point is 104 meters above sea level. The highest point is Monte Maddalena at 874 meters, while the center of the town is 149 meters. The administrative commune covers a total area of 90.3 square kilometers. Modern Brescia has a central area focused on residential and tertiary activities. Around the city proper, lies a vast urban agglomeration with over 600,000 inhabitants that expands mainly to the north, to the west and to the east, engulfing many communes in a continuous urban landscape. Climate. According to the Köppen climate classification, Brescia has a humid subtropical climate. Its average annual temperature is 13.7 degrees Celsius, 18.2 degrees Celsius during the day and 9.1 degrees Celsius at night. The warmest months are June, July, and August, with high temperatures from 27.8 degrees Celsius to 30.3 degrees Celsius. The coldest of December, January, and February, with low temperatures from -1.5 degrees Celsius to 0.6 degrees Celsius. Winter is cold and snowfall is not rare per year, mainly occurs from December through February, but snow-cover does not usually remain for long. Summer can be sultry, when humidity levels are high and peak temperatures can reach 35 degrees Celsius. Spring and autumn are generally pleasant, with temperatures ranging between 10 degrees Celsius and 20 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is high throughout the year, especially in winter when it causes fog, mainly from dusk until late morning, although the phenomenon has become increasingly less frequent in recent years. Precipitation is spread evenly throughout the year. The driest month is December, with precipitation of 54.6 millimeters, while the wettest month is May, with 104.9 millimeters of rain. Demographics. In 2014, there were 196,058 people residing in Brescia, of whom 47.1% were male and 52.9% were female. Minors totaled 16.1% of the population compared to pensioners who number 24.6%. This compares with the Italian average of 16.6% and 21.7%. In the 3 years between 2011 and 2014, the population of Brescia grew by 3.2%, while Italy as a whole grew by 2.3%. The current birth rate of Brescia is 8 births per 1,000 inhabitants compared to the Italian average of 8.2 births. Brescia is one of the most cosmopolitan and multicultural cities in Italy. In 2014, the foreign-born residents represented almost 20% of the total population. The largest immigrant group comes from other European nations, South Asia and North Africa. The city is predominantly Roman Catholic, but due to immigration now has some Orthodox Christian, Muslim and Sikh followers. Government. Since local government political reorganization in 1993, Brescia has been governed by the City Council of Brescia, which is based in Palazzo della Loggia. Voters elect directly 33 councillors and the mayor of Brescia every 5 years. Between the 1994 and 2008 local elections, the centre-left coalition held the largest number of seats with a partnership administration, based on the alliance between Italian People's Party, Democrats of the Left and other minor left-wing and Green parties. In the 2008 local election, the centre-right coalition formed by Silvio Berlusconi's People of Freedom Party and the regionalist Lega Nord won the majority in the city council. In the 2013 elections, the Democratic Party achieved an outright majority, after gaining an additional 5 seats across the city. The current mayor of Brescia is Emilio Del Bono, elected on June 10, 2013. Brescia is also the capital of its own province. The provincial council is seated in Palazzo Broletto. This is a timeline of the mayors of Brescia since 1946. Left-wing, right-wing, Christian Democrat boroughs. The city of Brescia is divided in 5 boroughs called circoscrizioni.